Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. This is JB.
And I'm Chandler, and this is the Unbiased Hard Take. On today's Unbiased Hard Take, as promised, we have the mock draft special. Now, of course, we will be not doing the entire first round 32 teams. We will be doing mock drafts for the Green Bay Packers, my favorite team. I will be doing the Packers, and he will be doing the mock draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It will be an all 7-round mock draft for all the picks. I will be drafting based off what I think Green Bay would do, not off of what I would do. You want to add before we begin?
And that would be going for both of us. We will be picking what we think that will be exceptional for our teams. But this simulator will do trades. We will not accept trades because it is a whole different scenario of what ifs in that scenario. So we are not going to accept any trades at all. It's going to be straight raw of all drafts. And I will say this now. We did get Allen Robinson for a 7th round pick. So once the 7th round pick gets, because I looked at this before, it does not show that we traded that pick. So I will be picking a random person on the board for that pick. So that pick will not go against our simulation.
Absolutely.
So, Chandler, are you ready for this simulation?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get started. So, and then you'll see through all of this for everything else. So we are going to pick, oh wait. God, this is going.
There we go.
I accidentally hit normal instead of fast. But it'll give us time to talk. All right.
With the 15th selection. Okay. A lot of Packer fans probably going to think something's wrong with me with this one. I was actually, in my opinion, going to take Myles Murphy on my board, had him still available, but he has been taken here already, it looks like, by the Falcons. So in that case, I will move to tight end.
All right. We're going to tight end.
Absolutely. And I just don't understand why they have Meyer above Washington. I think Washington is the best tight end in this draft class. So I'm taking Washington out of Georgia.
All right. Darnell Washington.
And a lot of it is because we have DeGuara. That's really the only reliable tight end we have. And with Jordan Love pretty much being a rookie quarterback, I know he's not, but first year as a starter, you need to help your young player, your young franchise quarterback. I mean, we've had 30 years of Hall of Fame quarterback play. Love's under a lot of pressure. We need to give him some sort of help. I don't think we really have as much as a pressing need at receiver as most Packer fans do. Mm-hmm. I just don't think a receiver is needed in the first round. I think we really, really need a tight end, and this is a really good tight end class to get one.
And you guys never draft a receiver in the first round except once.
And was 20 years.
Was that Donald Driver, if I'm not mistaken?
Donald Driver was a 7th round pick.
7th round. Who was the first round receiver that you picked?
Javon Walker was the last first round receiver we picked, and it's been over 20 years.
I stand corrected. All right. For the Steelers, for our 17th pick, I am going to pick Joey Porter Jr.
I knew it. I knew you were going to go that one.
And here's why. Because of his dad, Joey Porter. We all know that he is a hard-hitting person. We all know Joey Porter is that. So, for me, it's right to keep the name in Pittsburgh. So we might as well just pick Joey Porter Jr. Even though I slightly like Cam Smith a little bit more, that's just me. But I really like Joey Porter Jr.
I would agree. And, you know, Pittsburgh's known for keeping it in-house. Look at Kenny Pickett.
Exactly. So
But we got 32 here.
for the 32 pick on the second round, I am going to go offense this round.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick a center for this round. And I am going to pick Joe Tipman. And here's why. You could see his scouting report. I would just say this is the reason why I'm picking Joe Tipman out of Wisconsin over John Michael Schmitz in Minnesota. You guys can read it. I know it'd probably be a little small, but it's a really good It's really good. He's a zone blocker. He's also a great run blocker. So this is why I'm picking Joe Tipman as my second round pick.
Outstanding. And Pittsburgh's always good for offensive linemen. Mike Tomlin's a hard-nosed coach. He likes those kind of players.
Yes. But
old school defensive guys.
But I will
defensive,
say this,
offensive linemen.
I will say this right now. The Steelers. We need offensive linemen. We need offensive linemen. And here's why. Badly. This is the only year. This is last year was our offensive lineman was ranked 32 out of everybody. You want to know why? There was only one person on the whole entire Steelers offense. It was a guard. His name was Daniels. Last name Daniels. He was the only person that did not allow a sack. The only person. Why? Why, you ask? Because we sucked this year. We would probably won 10 times more games if we had an offensive line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ever since all the years that we played in the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 40, we had a fantastic offensive line. Alan Faneca was our head person for that offensive line. Super Bowl 43. We had also another amazing offensive lineman. We had so many great people. It was not even funny. So,
the offensive line is especially crucial when you have a young quarterback. The fact they were 500 last year with a rookie quarterback and the worst offensive line in the league, that's normally a recipe for disaster.
Yes.
The fact they didn't, if they can even improve a little bit in that category, they'll probably have a winning record.
Exactly. Even better if we would probably win 15 games that season if we had a better offensive lineman.
Possibly, right. Right, and a veteran quarterback. Right.
But
okay, looks like
Kenny Pickett is our head quarterback for however long he decides to play. I'll say that right now.
And do you think he's a franchise guy? You think he's going to be that dude?
He is a franchise quarterback. He is that dude. I'll say this now. We have Najee Harris in our backfield. We have amazing running back core.
Oh yeah.
We have an amazing quarterback, Kenny Pickett. I do believe that he is our next franchise quarterback.
I think he's going to be more of a game. I think he's a really solid quarterback. I think he'll be a good game manager. I had to compare him to someone, I would maybe compare him to somebody like Jared Goff. I think he'll have that's like his ceiling. Is Goff. I think he is going to be a good quarterback.
I think he has a higher ceiling than what Jared Goff had. What Jared Goff is right now.
I remember though, Jared Goff has had success. He's almost won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, actually, that is true.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, let's see. We got 45th here.
Yep.
All right. Let's go. Packer fans again. I don't think we need a receiver. We don't have a glaring need. I'm going to say it one more time. We do not have a receiver problem in Wisconsin. Watson, Romeo Dobbs, looked outstanding. Samari Toure. Our receiving core is going to be fine. So, with edge rushing, what I'd like to see, edge rusher. I think
Edge
that's what they're
rusher.
going to. Yep.
All right, let's go to the edge. All right. There.
Laugh on the edge. Okay. That screen very well.
You got.
Apologize, everybody.
You got. Well, what? How do you say his last name or his name in general?
Yeah, no one's really sure.
Ademiwa Adabor at edge out of Northwestern. Felix Adunke Uzma out of Kansas State.
I couldn't see that name. I want him.
The Kansas State?
Yes. Quick, his recap, I'll tell you why.
All right. All right. What is your recap on your...
hit his recap. I'll tell you why.
There we go.
All right, so edge rushing. We do have Preston. Preston Smith is a very good pass rusher. We have Rashawn Gary. The issue with Rashawn Gary is he got hurt halfway through the last year and will probably at least miss October, I would say, through October, probably with an ACL injury. So that's going to have a glaring need early in the year at edge rusher. And hopefully Gary can come back to the same player he was. So if we can get Felix, I'm not going to say his last name. He has a 6'4" frame. He looks like it says, it looks the part. You cannot teach frame. You cannot teach ability and size. As of those things. He has long legs. He's an athletic freak that I think Green Bay is very good at drafting and developing. Yes, he might be a little raw and things to kind of touch up, but you cannot teach athletic ability. That is freaking nature. I mean, look at that. 6'3", 255. My God.
Yeah.
He's a physical freak.
Yes, he is.
That glaring need at edge rushing. Green Bay is known for picking corners and edge rushers, top and defensive players mainly in their top draft picks. I don't think this year is going to be any different.
Right.
We're not going to draft a receiver. Sorry to tell you, Packer fans, we're not going.
And
we got 49.
And 49th pick, the Steelers, for me, is going to pick a defense tackle. And here's why. Yes, Cam Hayward said that we need defensive tackles and defensive ends. I do agree. That's where we're kind of lacking on defense. We're lacking on corners, even though we got Patrick Peterson. He is our veteran corner. And yes, we lost Cam Sutton, but it is a tragedy. But
that is a loss.
That is a huge loss. That's why I picked Joey Porter Jr. He fits the exact same frame as Cam Sutton. So, for me, my next pick, I am picking Mazi Smith.
Okay.
And with that being said, and of course, you can kind of see it, but he's very athletic. He can get to the ball with. It's just I want to say he's amazing, but he's a freak. I'll say that right now. He is a freak. So for our 49th pick, Mazi Smith is my pick.
I like that pick.
Just because our defense needs defensive linemen, corners, and that's probably mostly about it.
Really, Pittsburgh's not known for doing what they call a sexy draft, all these skill positions. So you're probably right. That's a very Pittsburgh draft.
Yeah, and some people will say we need receivers. No, we don't. No, we do not need receivers, and you want to know why? We have so many receivers that I don't even know who they are. to begin with. Maybe they're a diamond in the rough. We just don't know yet. But for me, I never heard of him. Like we have Deontay Johnson, which I do believe if he's going to keep crying like he has been lately, he's probably be the next Antonio Brown. We're going to get rid of him because we don't like crybabies in Pittsburgh. Right. So for him to complain that he didn't get a touchdown this season, well, maybe if you stop dropping passes and actually get open, like you have been for a while when Ben was playing. Yes, I'm talking to you. Get open and stop dropping passes. Okay? Thank you. So, we got Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Allen Robinson. Yes, I know he is injured. He got injured last season. That's why he didn't play as much last season. But when he comes back, he's going to be amazing. So for that being said, Allen Robinson, he is a playmaker. He gets open.
Yes. With a consistent coach. Not that I don't think Sean McVay is a good coach, because I do. I think Mike Tomlin is a better coach.
Yes. Mike Tomlin is a lot better.
Moving forward, where are we at here? 75?
Yes.
All right. Surprise a lot of people here, but I want everyone to hear me out. You could go to quarterback.
Ooh, quarterback.
Corner. QB. Okay, let's see this board here.
Oh. You got Tanner McKee, Jaron Hall, Caitlin Toon, Aiden O'Connell.
I love me some Aiden O'Connell.
Yes, we do. But
I actually had Hooker available here, but I also enjoy. Go up a little bit. I want to see is McKay still available?
Yep, McKee is still available. Tanner McKee
is still available.
Yes.
Yeah, draft him. And a lot of people are probably looking at me with a weird face. However, hear me out. I'm going to give you a little bit of a history lesson. All right?
Yes.
Can you tell me what Green Bay did in the third or second round of the 2008 NFL draft?
Well, I know you picked a quarterback, that's for sure. But I never.
Yes, we did.
Don't even remember his name.
All right, so I want to go down a little history lesson here, down memory lane. And for those that remember, the name Brian Baram.
Brian Baram.
We drafted him in 2008. The year Aaron Rodgers came out, was the starting quarterback. Why would we do such a thing? Aaron Rodgers was great. Well, we didn't know that at the time. Jordan Love could be the next best thing. Or he could really go out there and suck. Green Bay has always been a really reliable, stable organization. Not going to go into the season with just two quarterbacks, Danny Etling and Jordan Love, on the roster. What if Love gets hurt? You going to throw Danny Etling out there? No.
Who's that?
Hey, right, our third-string practice squad quarterback. You need to go right. You need a new quarterback. You need at least a backup quarterback. I would say maybe even a veteran. Tanner McKee out of Stanford was really, really hoping Hooker was here. I like him slightly better. But overall, McKee's probably a more ready product right now. He can stick that ball into tight windows over the middle. You can teach a lot of things. Accuracy is not one of them. He's a traditional pro-looking quarterback. He has elite size for positions, 6'6", 230. His stats misrepresent his quality of play, really, because he didn't have really a good supporting cast around him. He is accurate. He's a typical quarterback that you want. That he does have an average year when they went 3-9 in both 21 and 22. So I think team success really is one of the reasons he hasn't really failed this far.
True.
I think quarterback, Green Bay is going to go in with at least a secondary plan. I think quarterback is definitely something that they will probably look at with one of their third or fourth or fifth round picks. I do think Jordan Love is that guy. I do. I think they believe that. But at the same time, you can't assume that. You know what assuming does? It makes an ass out of you and me.
That is true.
Exactly.
Where did Hooker stand by?
All right.
Huh, that's weird. All right, anyways. For me, my next pick, we are going to pick another offensive lineman. But this time it's going to be a guard. And I'm going to say, out of all these nice selections, I am going to pick Emily Ekiyor Jr. So, and like I said, we need. I'm gonna keep saying this until it stops. We need offensive linemen. So, for that being said, that's why I'm drafting another offensive lineman, and is from Alabama. So he's 6'2", 320. He's a little bit of a shorter lineman. Don't get me wrong, but like I said on this report right here, he is very strong. He has good potential length, but it says he's not an elite athlete, but he has a really good explosives on the snap. So that's,
And with Nick Saban coaching him in college, that he does have good fundamentals. So he works hard.
Yes, but the freak of nature comes later on. Hopefully, he will contribute and actually be a better offensive lineman, because we need offensive linemen. So, for that being said, that's why I picked him.
It's not really, and it's really boring. It is. It's not a sexy draft pick, and that's what people, I think, they see offensive line draft, they kind of snarl. They do. But when you're watching football and your quarterback's getting his ass kicked back there because your line sucks, and people want you to draft linemen. But it's kind of funny how that works out. They hate when you draft them, but fans seem to, like I said, hate when you draft linemen, but I don't think they really understand the importance of them, especially the casual fan.
Yeah.
Moving on to here, 116, if I'm correct. Yes.
Yep.
All right, if you could here, this is also a dire need for the Packers, in my opinion. Hit safety.
All right, safety.
And safety's one of those positions this season that's kind of scary for me, because we have a glaring need for safety, and this is not a good safety class. However, I am high on one of these safeties, and it's Anthony Johnson Jr., Iowa State. Yeah, he's on the board.
Yes, he is on the board.
Yes.
I was gonna say, well, let's look at his scouting report, but he does not have a scouting report. So
I don't need one.
But he does not need one, because Chandler is amazing at this. So go ahead. Tell us why.
A lot of the glaring need for me comes from the fact that Amos is no longer under contract. And with Amos no longer under contract, and he had some recent visits this offseason with the Baltimore Ravens, the only really safeties reliable we have on our roster right now is Darnell Savage, who's up and down over his career, and Rudy Ford, who has just made a couple of some flashes, don't get me wrong. I don't know if you really want to go into the season Rudy Ford is one of your starters. But as far as Johnson, he's physical. And Green Bay's defense has really lacked physicality in my fandom's lifetime, unfortunately. He's physical downfield. He matches up really well with bigger receivers. He's tough and fiery with good competitiveness. And high effort player. You're in the same division as people like Justin Jefferson and players of that nature. You need people, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, you need people who are going to go out there and be able to defend, play physical, tackle, hit them. Because Jefferson's going to make plays. He just is. You're not going to be able to stop him all the time, every game, every year. Good. That's just reality.
Yep.
Reality is, when he makes plays, you need someone who's going to be able to hit him. Yep. I want to kind of disrupt him. That's why I think we needed to kind of draft Richardson, put him beside Darnell Savage, and put Rudy Ford back there as kind of a rotational piece, and hopefully maybe find an undrafted free agent or kind of another rotational player you can use as a reserve. That's what they need to do.
And I agree. He is an athletic safety. But
The most athletic safety, in my opinion.
yes,
And he's the number one safety on the board. The fact that he has fell into the 4th round is bizarre to me. I think he's the best safety in the draft.
I agree. But for the 120th pick, I was going to pick Corey Trice Jr. as my other pick. But we can see the Minnesota Vikings picked him before me.
You know, I'm glad that I'm not the only one getting screwed over here, because I've had 3 of my 4 picks have not worked out. I had a Miles Murphy 1, Samuel Porter 2, Hendon Hooker 3. All of my picks have been fucked. So it was good to see it's happening to you finally this time.
So for me, I am going to pick Alex Austin because I do believe he is the next pick for. He's the same build as Corey Trice Jr. He's very explosive off the ball. He's a very good. He matches up receivers really nicely. Even with, again, in Oregon State, he did match up really nicely with other receivers, quick, fast receivers on this year's draft. So for me, my next pick is going to be Alex Austin, which should have been Corey Trice Jr., in my opinion, but that's just me.
I like that pick because kind of similar to Green Bay, when you're in a division now with Odell Beckham Jr., Jamar Chase for sure, T. Higgins, you need people that are going to be able to guard those guys.
Yep. So yeah,
Amari Cooper.
Amari
Browns.
Cooper is also a nice one to deal with.
In there, and Deshaun Watson throwing him the ball. I think if that rust being off of Watson,
I don't think that rust is still there. That rust is still there to me.
I don't think it will be, though. I don't think it will be when the season starts. I think last year was kind of a scrap year for Watson. He played those last games to kind of feel football again. Almost been 2 full years.
Well, maybe
moving.
I'm just. I'm going to keep that comment to myself. All right.
Well, you know what?
Pick.
It's a different topic for
a different day.
I'm glad.
Exactly.
I'm glad this podcast. Glad this podcast wasn't around during that scandal. But moving with the 149th pick, to make Packers fans guys happy. Okay, I'm not totally oblivious. Wide receiver, please.
All right, wide receiver.
Obviously, can't just rely on your 2 rookies last year that had good seasons in Samari Toure, who was a 7th rounder. You can't just rely on those people. You do need to add to that pack a little bit. With that, please, let's go Douglas from Liberty. Liberty.
Mario Douglas.
Oh. And that comes back to, I don't think we have a glaring need at wide receiver. I think Christian Watson is, their year will be a number 1 receiver. I think Romeo Doubs is another good sidekick to him. Douglas is a possession target field stretcher. Fiercely competitive, has a good run after the catch, and the ability to make down the middle of the field. That's a big thing, because a lot of receivers are afraid to go down that middle of the field. They're afraid to get hit.
Mm-hmm.
He has strong hands, competitive. He has a good time. He has an easy time high pointing balls. When deep balls, he has good speed. He combines that balance and quickness well. People confuse balance and quickness with speed. They really, really do. And he's a slippery runner. Really just is. However, he does need to be able to develop his route running. He seemed last year with Liberty, it's really lesser competition. I have issues at times getting separation. You're going to have to fix that, but you can coach that. I think he has the physical gifts, but with some coaching, he could be a good receiver. And I don't think we're getting receivers a glaring need, but we could definitely use another 1 or 2 in the building.
I agree.
Well, Packer fans, there you go.
You could always teach route running.
we have a good track record of drafting receivers. Mind you, we haven't drafted a receiver in over 20 years in the first round. That's not going to change. And we don't need to because we're good at drafting them in the other rounds.
Exactly.
Think about it. Other NFL teams make fun of us. Why? Because we're better at drafting them than they are? Think about it. Devontae Adams. These are receivers we did not draft in the first round. Donald Driver, James Jones, Jordy Nelson, Greg Jennings, Devontae Adams. Tight end, but Jermichael Finley. I think our track record of drafting skill position players is pretty good. Christian Watson already showed some promise last year, so fuck them first-round receivers. Overrated as hell. I hope they never take one. That's something. That's a hard take you needed to hear, Packer fans.
Yes.
Moving on.
Why we
All right.
called the hard take. All right. Next pick, 170. 170, the Packers. Who do you think that they are going to take?
If you could here, let's go center.
Let's go center.
You need a center here. And let's do, let me see that.
Looks like Jarrett Patterson.
Oh, Patterson's still available from Notre Dame?
Yep.
Really? Yeah, him. Take him.
All right.
And that comes down to the fact of a glaring need at center. I just don't feel comfortable going into the season with currently 2 centers on the roster. That needs addressed because you can't just go into the season with Jake Hansen and Josh Myers. You need a little bit more of a security blanket there. And I think that's definitely a position of need and depth more so for us.
Right.
He's a raw prospect, but I don't think he needs to play day one. You can kind of draft, develop him. I seen you trying to hide that one. Woo! Did you hear mine earlier?
What?
All right, good deal. Never mind. But yeah, kind of draft, develop that offensive lineman. We are very good at that. We kind of did it recently with Zach Tom. He's not a center, but Zach Tom was a recent draft develop player that's really worked out for us.
Right.
I think that's definitely a glaring need. Got here. The Steelers don't have another pick. Looks like we're at 232.
32. Yes.
232.
232 in the 7th round pick.
Right, and my needs for Green Bay. Oops, here. Tight end, wide receiver, safety, kicker, defensive lineman, edge rusher. Already kind of nailed edge rusher. First round, the second round, we nailed tight end, receiver. Put it on there. It is a need. But God damn it, Packer fans, I'm tired of hearing about it. Don't need it. Kicker, safety. Kind of addressed most of those needs. However, with this pick, I would kind of like to go the kicker here.
Kicker. Special teams.
Yes.
Kicker. All right.
If you could draft Jake Moody from Michigan, best kicker in the draft.
All right.
The 2021 Lou Gehrig Award winner. Never missed an extra point, made all 148, has made 69 of his 84 field goals for 82.9%. Last 2 years really came on scene. That's a kicker, 90.9% in 2018. 2 years, didn't play too much. 2021, 92%, 82.9 last year. Management have recently said that they didn't necessarily shut it down, kind of pointing at the idea that Mason Crosby probably will not be back with the team. With that being said, the only other kicker on the roster right now would be Parker White of South Carolina, and he has never played an NFL snap. I think we definitely would have a need for kicker. It is one of the most important positions in football that people don't realize, because kickers are people too. Everyone makes fun of the kicker until he misses 4 or 5 field goals in overtime, a game that we were present at.
Yes, that was a crazy game.
Yes, and
for both teams, that was horrible. Oh my God.
Thank you to my wife, not saying names, as I'm a private individual. Thank you to my wife for buying those tickets for us for my birthday that year. Thank you for that.
You.
This is Murphy. So, yeah, that. I'm gonna memory lane here, man. I'm sitting there in the stands. This is right before Crosby hits that final kick to finally win that Cincinnati game. And I'm in the stands, and I'm just up there screaming, "Go for it! Go for it! Get that motherfucker off the sideline! Get him on sidelines! Damn it!
This is true.
Go for it!" I swear to God, other Packer fans are actually, most of them were agreeing with me. We were just tired of it. I liked our chances better on 4th and 1 at that point. But happy for you, Crosby. You redeemed yourself and were able to make it.
Exactly.
Moving on here to 235. Right? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Already done
Who
that.
are
done
you
that.
picking?
Offensive lineman again, please.
All right. Offensive lineman. Center, guard, or tackle?
Tackle.
We're going to tackle.
Yes.
All
Ooh.
right.
Really? Jalen Thomas.
Jalen Thomas out of SMU.
Yes. And his scouting report as well. And I want some things to support this opinion as well. But
Coming
yes,
soon.
David. That's good. I don't need it. I have most of my things up here anyway, like the additional assistant sometimes. No help for Murphy today.
Yes.
David Bakhtiari is an elite player. Really, really is. But he has not been healthy the last 2 seasons. He had kind of shuffled our offensive line last year because of that. Will he play? Will he not? It was actually a running joke for Packer fans last year about Bakhtiari. I called him Captain Part-Time. Bakhtiari, if you are listening to this, please stop chugging beers at Milwaukee Bucks games and actually give a shit about playing. I am serious. Like,
oh, that's funny.
Like the year he came back, he played not the last season where we missed the playoffs the year before, where we lost our first fucking playoff game to the Niners. He played the season finale and then missed the playoff game. No, what? You're not hurt. You played the season finale. You ain't hurt. You didn't play a wild card game. You had the first round bye, and then you missed the game. Why? I want an answer from Bakhtiari on that. He never really gave one. He's been chugging beers at Milwaukee Bucks games. Crazy. We need another offensive lineman. We need to be able to develop him so we can get his ass out of here. I do not want him on this team anymore. I am tired of the wish-washing. He is my most... I don't hate anything. I want them all to succeed because that means the team is succeeding. But my least favorite Packer player right now is easily David Bakhtiari, and he's awesome. But he just doesn't seem to give a crap.
He just wants to go to Milwaukee's home games and
chug beer.
Might as well be Bud Light, right? Do you get that joke?
You get the
joke now? Yeah.
I get the joke.
Yeah.
I get the joke.
Okay.
That's what Bears fans are doing.
That is true.
It is.
But for the Steelers' 241th pick, and I will correct myself, we did exchange draft picks. We did trade our 234th pick for their 251. So I do stand corrected. So
Okay.
For this being said, for this pick of this draft, this simulation draft, I'm going to go to... Let's see what edge rushers has here. None I'm really remembering anybody, really.
Right. I don't... None of those
None
names
of those
pop out
really
too much.
actually pop out. And I really don't look at every single college
Well, it's impossible.
how they do anything. But it's
that's
possible.
Why you don't. That's why you really don't see a lot of 7-round mock drafts. Mel Kiper doesn't even do 7-round mock drafts.
Right.
Now, I'm kind of a football junkie. I know a lot of these guys. I really do. I don't know all of them. Obviously, I still need a little bit of assistance, especially once we get around 5, 6, 7, really. But
yeah, true.
Probably need to find me a hobby. Actually, I found one. It's this. Giving y'all what you need.
So, for my next pick, it's going to be Earl Bostic Jr. out of Kansas, offensive tackle. And I'll keep saying this. We need offensive linemen. Point period.
Steelers fans, you ain't heard it. You need offensive linemen.
Yes, yes, we do, and everyone will agree. This last year's offensive lineman sucked. We did not have Najee Harris was fighting for every inch.
Yes,
Literally.
he was.
Oops, sorry. Every inch. Okay. And he almost reached 1,000 yards, even if he barely hit it. Like, imagine if we had an amazing offensive line. He would have went over 1,000 yards.
Easily.
He would have beat Justin Fields, the running back for Chicago Bears. For crying out loud. A quarterback that can't read a defense. He needs to run. For God's sake,
yes,
he can't even see a defensive lineman on the sideline, right by the Lions sideline. He was just standing there, walking to the line of scrimmage, looking at a receiver. And what does Justin Fields do? He threw it to that receiver. And guess what happened? Tell me, what happened?
It was interception.
Aiden Richardson, a defensive line edge rusher, picked the ball off. That's was just standing there.
That's because
how
the
do
Bears...
you not? I just want to know, how do you not see that?
All right, so Bears fans love Justin. Let me tell you. If Bears
he
fans,
does.
I hope you're listening.
He thinks he's a god. Anyways, go ahead.
Bears fans, if you're listening.
I hope not, but I do.
I hope not to. If you are, I love you. Number one. Number two, you have never had a good quarterback and you never will. Best quarterback in franchise history is McMahon. Some would say Jay Cutler. It's never going to get better. It's never going to get better. Will always be behind the Packers.
Yep.
Moving on to 242.
Yep.
Fuck the Bears. Moving on to 242. I would like to see here defensive line. Edge rusher, defensive line.
Well, there's defensive tackle and edge. Which one do you want?
Tackle.
Defensive tackle.
Clark seemed to struggle a little more last year. And our Georgia first-round pick last year, Wyatt, seemed to have moments. Why he didn't play as much, I don't know. Kind of makes me nervous a little bit with the lack of production from the defensive tackle position. I think an experimental player here would be good. With that, I would like you to take Dudden from North Carolina State. Is he still available on the board?
Corey Durden.
Excuse me. Durden, yeah, from North Carolina State. Excuse me. He's a project player, but again, lack of production from the defensive tackle position last year in Green Bay. That's something that they could look at in the later round.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Man, I just don't know who.
235?
Yep, actually 235. What do you mean by that?
This pick number?
No, it's 251.
Me.
It's 251.
Excuse me.
It is 251. Steelers are on the clock.
Disregard.
I'm going to pick a guard. Let's go. Mark Evans the second.
I was trying to think. There was Mark Evans the second.
Yep. Out of Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Okay. For some reason I've heard that name.
Yeah, I kind of heard that name. I know he will be it's for most of these, for me, and when it comes to offensive line at the close to like the 6th and 7th round, you would need to be quite a bit coaching than what the higher draft picks are for offensive lineman wise. Offensive lineman wise, because you can find a huge diamond on the last pick.
Absolutely.
Look at Purdy, for example. He was the last pick of the NFL draft.
Yep.
And look at what he did. He was amazing, phenomenal.
Now they're getting ready to trade, it looks like, the 3rd overall pick of Trey Lance from a draft. That way they can keep the last pick of the draft. You can
Yep.
think about that for a minute.
Exactly. So, but for me, when it comes to defensive linemen, or not defensive linemen, offensive linemen, you need more coaching, for them to be actually pretty good. So I think I've kind of heard about Mark Evans II a little bit here and there,
Right.
but I do believe he is he's 6'2", 303 pounds. So
My God, Jesus.
he is a big boy. So he can shut. Hopefully, I think I heard his run block is really good. His pass blocking needs to be worked on a little bit.
Right.
So, but that's why I picked him. So moving on for the 256th pick for the Packers.
Yeah. This is our last pick for us. Moving in that direction again, I would like another tight end, please. I think another direction they will go in.
All right. There's your tight ends.
Okay. All right. Out here.
You got Cameron McDonald, Davis Allen, Britton Strange. Who you picking?
Oh, yeah. Davis Allen from Clemson.
Davis Allen from Clemson.
And that gets back to, again, all we have is DeGuara.
Yep.
Really on our roster, and he really hasn't really produced much for us, and he would be our starting tight end right now. And I know I took that excuse me, Washington in the first round for tight end, but we need a little bit more depth there. We need a little bit more competition for these guys that are unproven. He's capable of tracking passes from a lot of angles. Sideline awareness for those, he has good quick feet and he stays in bounds. For those that do not know, that's actually a big thing in the NFL, because in college football you only have to have 1 foot in bounds. In professional football you need so the ability to do that is crucial. The only issue is really what I seen on tape. I did watch a little bit of his tape. He struggles tracking the ball over his shoulder. When you hit him over the shoulder with like a fade or something like that, he has a hard time locating the ball for some reason. And he doesn't really have a lot of speed and athleticism. Really a burner, but we have plenty of speed on the roster currently, I think, with Samari Toure and Christian Watson. So I think looking at ability, he has some good fundamentals and a good draft prospect that we could develop possibly.
True. So, out of all your picks, you got Darnell Washington. You picked him first round, and you stand by that, right? You stand by a tight end first round.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, Josh DeGuara is just not enough. You need somebody to be able to go out there and help your young rookie first. I know he's not a rookie technically. First year starting quarterback, right?
Yep.
You need someone to be able to go out there and assist him. Tight end is a glaring need, and I think it just makes a lot of sense there. You don't have a receiver problem in Wisconsin. And even if we did have a receiver problem, we don't draft receivers in the first round anyway. We wouldn't have done it anyway.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So, even though when we did this before we even recorded, we just wanted to double check and see that everything was all stated correctly. So, your third round pick, you wanted for that simulation, you chose Hooker. Do you think he will still be in the third round, even though with all the teams that still needs a quarterback, Hooker will still be on the board?
Yes. A lot of teams have third round grades on him. Most of the teams that need quarterbacks are picking right in that category. So look, you got Bryce Young is going to go off the board. C.J. Stroud's going to go off the board. Anthony Richardson's going to go off the board. Will Levis is going to go off the board. Hooker is not. He's still going to be there. There's a lot. This is a heavy quarterback draft. McKee could even go before Hooker. I wouldn't be surprised to see that.
Yeah.
Hooker's more of a raw project. McKee's more pro ready now.
Yep.
But I stand by Green Bay will need to take a quarterback between round 3 and 5. Anywhere between there, I think would be a good place to kind of get that security blanket. I stick by them needing a quarterback in between round 3 and 5. Just as a security blanket, Jordan Love gets hurt, sucks, doesn't work out, and even if he's elite in the next Aaron Rodgers, you can't go into the season with Danny Etling as your second stringer. It isn't going to work.
Right. And then you also picked a receiver.
Finally,
was that for all the true Packers fans that is watching?
No, it is not. Let me tell you all that are listening, I am not oblivious to the fact that we need some more receivers. It's not the biggest need on the team. We do need some more receivers in the room. So I would like to see them draft a later receiver. I will be furious if they draft one in the first round.
Ooh, and we'll probably hear that when they start doing the draft.
They're not going to draft a receiver in the first. It's not going.
I hope not.
They're not going to.
Because we will not hear the end of it until the regular season starts.
They're not going to.
All right. So, out of all the people that you took, what is your grade?
I give myself on this one an A-.
An A-.
I think we have pretty much covered every draft need Green Bay had. Replacing Crosby at kicker, getting that edge rusher, getting that safety, because Amos is on a contract. We did get a receiver, a couple tight ends. I think linemen. I think overall that if we could make this draft happen, that would be, oh my God, I think I'd cry tears of joy. I give myself an A-.
Well, let's hope they don't trade any of their picks, because I mean you have 10 picks right now, and probably most of these teams will try to get trade picks off of you.
Well, that and the Aaron Rodgers, we could end up with actually more than 10 picks depending on what happens with Aaron Rodgers and his. I don't even know what to say.
Right. We already discussed this on an earlier podcast, but
right. Why that trade hasn't happened yet? That's a dick swing. That's a different topic. But overall, A- from
an A- for 10 picks. I hope you got in everybody, because you got 10 picks.
Right.
And on to the Steelers for our little
Pittsburgh. Dun, 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 dun.
For our total 7 picks. I'm going to give myself a B+. I'm going to go on the little low end, but I do agree that this is a B+. For me, Joey Porter Jr., I mean, for me, that is a no-brainer. He is probably one of the best corners that's coming out of this draft class, even though Cam Smith is a little bit better. He's a little bit better. I love Cam Smith. He's also a lockdown corner. He's very quick. He has great hands. But I do believe the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go to Joey Porter Jr. because of who his dad is and how he is a legend in the Pittsburgh Steelers. So for me, and I also like Joey Porter Jr. too. So for that, it's a no-brainer. Steelers are going to pick Joey Porter first round. I do like that pick. Some people don't. Some people don't like that pick, but that is fine with me. And then
it's because they think you're being a homer.
Exactly, but
that's what it is.
And also, even though there were some Pittsburgh, that was in this draft class that I didn't pick. But I do believe if they're still on that board, like I do believe there is a offensive tackle that is from Pittsburgh. They will probably pick him over Joe Tippmann. That is me, because we love picking people out of Pittsburgh. And Kenny Pickett, I do believe he is, he's really well known even with Pittsburgh. Because he did come from Pittsburgh, and most of his offensive linemen he was really good with. So don't get me wrong on that, but it all comes with talent for me when it comes to offensive linemen. So I think Joe Tippmann, because I do believe, with my knowledge right now, we only have either one or two people at center right now. And
Right.
so I think Joe Tippmann will be our starting center. But he'll probably need a little bit of work on, but he is a freak on the offensive line.
Right.
And going to that, for me, getting Mazzy Smith in the third round, that would be a good pickup for us because we really do need defense line. Like Cam Hayward said, we need defensive linemen. We need people up front. So for Mazzy Smith, he's a big, bulky. He is a freaking nature when he comes off the line. If you ever see Mazzy Smith, look him up. He is a freaking nature coming off that line.
Looking at your draft, really, this is a Pittsburgh draft. It's not sexy.
Nope.
It's not a lot of fun, because it's a lot of linemen and defensive players. That's what Pittsburgh does.
And this is what, for me, this is what we need. We really don't need edge rushers because I believe we have the two. We have T.J. Watt and coming off one end, and it's a mix between a few others in the on the other end. Alex Highsmith, he is also a we also use him as middle linebacker. We also use him outside on the other side of the ball. So on our other side, it's a mix between of who we had, but I do believe we really don't need edge rushers or edge linebackers and all that. But I do believe this is what we need. We need offensive linemen, defensive linemen, even though I only picked one defensive line, but he is that, for me, to me, that is the best that we can get. But we really need offensive linemen. We need offensive linemen. Bad. So
one more time for the ones in the back. One more time.
We need offensive linemen. So, for that being said, we need offensive linemen.
That concludes today's draft special, Unbiased Hard Take, mock draft special. Again, grade us below. I gave myself an A-. He gave himself a
B+.
You think we're smart? You think we're stupid? Let us know. Comment below. Anything you want to add else there, Jibby?
Yeah, I would like to add one thing. Actually, a few. Subscribe, hit the bell, comment down below. Tell us, what is your favorite team? It could be NFL, NBA, hockey, baseball, whatever. Tell us what is your favorite team and why. And we will read. If you don't want us to read, that is fine. We will not read it. But if you want us to read, and we will tell you, hey, that is a good compliment of why that would be your favorite team, and maybe a history thing. But comment down below, what is your favorite team and why, and how did we grade us on how we did on this draft.
Absolutely. One last thing I'd like to add before we go, as you will see, my hat is not football related today. It's a Miami Heat hat. That's that big game. We're going to take that 2-0 lead tonight.
2-0.
Let's go Heat. Oh, we're going to take that lead. Represent that.
We will.
I just want to thank you all. See you all next week on the next Unbiased Hard Take.
Yep. Take it easy.